All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. College football week 8. You guys know the drill. We're about to dive into the games. We're going to build out some weird stuff. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to wait for people to get here. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully. Redemption week 8 because week 7 was not too nice to me. Late night was good. Early was not. We got a lot of plays, though. I'm Ben Raza, of course. Just joining us. If it's seeing this on your Twitter, you're saying, what is this? Like I said, this is where you want to be. We're going to get into the weeds on college football this morning. Wait for people to get it. Here, I will retweet this. I'm doing this on the fly. How do I do this? Sounds like this where I could use Lofty's help. All right. Here we go. Share. Open chat. Very good. Post this. There we go. Live talking all things CFB and placing some bets to get ready for this Saturday slate. Now we're in business, everybody. Here we go. Posting this. All right. We're in business. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. So let's bring up the board. Let's start going to work right here. Here we go. So feels like an SEC day in the sense that they just have the biggest games. LSU and Vanderbilt. You've got Alabama and Tennessee late night. You got Georgia and Ole Miss in the middle of the day. All of those are pretty damn good, appealing games. I think some of them are actually pretty good betting games on top of it. So we do get a little dual utility in the sense of I want to see the games, but I want to bet some of the games. So let's take it. We'll go like we normally do. We'll go in order. We'll take questions and we'll get out of here. But I do want to start right in the 12 o'clock window. LSU and Vandy. Tough game. Not my favorite. I bounce back and forth on what I think about the total. I think it'll be pretty methodical and both teams will be content in some fashion to stick to what they know. LSU can't really run the ball, and you can't run the ball against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, I think, can run the ball and will run the ball against LSU. Looks like Weeks is not going to play on top of that. We'll see about that game. I'm not going to pick a side. I've gone back and forth. I think it screams LSU in some ways, but I'm probably, in all honesty, just stuck in the you see LSU and you see Vanderbilt and just the name recognition. You're like, well, LSU should really handle them. It's not the best game on the board. So let's start going to some of these games here as we scroll down. I actually want to talk about Michigan and Washington. It's a game that popped up for me pretty recently. It wasn't on the card, and I actually just added Michigan. If you want to tail that, I just dropped it over on tails, and it's just a Washington team, obviously, that now has to travel. You look at what they've been doing, not really inspiring, to be completely honest. They're a fine team, but they had their chance against Ohio State. Were not able to do anything in that game, only scored 6 points. They beat Maryland on the road. They beat Rutgers. I think this is by far the second most difficult opponent that they've seen. I just look at the situation with Michigan. This line has moved up a little bit, but I'm okay inside a touchdown here. Obviously, their freshman quarterback's getting better every week. They've had some very difficult spots, and I've actually shorted Michigan to pretty good success so far this year. I did not like them in some of these road spots that they had to deal with, and I thought they played fine, but at the end of the day, they were not able to really get it done. They're sitting at an uneventful 4-2. USC handled them last week. Oklahoma handled them, but they've answered the call at home. I think they're going to answer the call here. That defense is still very, very respectable. I like Michigan in this spot. It's a game, like I said, I wasn't running to the window to get to, but now that I'm here, I think that's fine. You look at the boost builder this week, Michigan could be in there for sure at minus 200. That's a good spot. Let's see what it is over on DraftKings as well. It's probably in minus 198. So yeah, same thing. 4.5 there. This is why you want to shop this. Even better. So I will unclick that. We'll go to our 4.5s. and we'll be in business. But yeah, I'm fine with Michigan in the early window, and I'm going to need something to sweat there because I don't have a ton of action in this early frame to be just not as many good games, not as many good betting games. Let's see what else that we've got here. Let me get off this game. Here we go. Arizona. Can I just rant about Arizona for a couple minutes? How they lost that game last week for anyone that was tailing. Thoughts and prayers. Double overtime. Blew a 10-point lead late. BYU fumbled and should have lost. None of that happened. Very painful. Very painful. TCU. Let's talk about TCU. That's a tough game, man. I think that's where I lean. Baylor's kind of to me, like a random number generator. You look at what they've done this year, been somewhat uninspiring right from the start. They drew Auburn early. Arizona State got them. They beat Kansas State by 1, but they've shown really nothing on the road. They did beat SMU on the road, but I don't know how good SMU is. It's a interchangeable conference. So for me, it would be TCU or pass. You see 65.5 on the screen. There's going to be points. I don't see how there's not points in this game. A lot of them. Just one of those shootout type mentality games. Not on my card, but it would be TCU or pass for me. Good morning. Yeah, let's get this. Let's see what we can do today. Again, if you do have questions on an individual game, we will hit it in this window. Bounce house candidate here. This is another Moneyline parlay piece potentially. Shout out to Kent State, who absolutely just destroyed UMass last week. Awful, awful, awful showing from UMass. And that's really what we have come to expect from those just a miserable football team right now. It's very sad. All right, let's get to a couple 3:30 games. I like this window. I'm going to back the boys. Once again, Texas State is on the card. Both of these are fine. -3 at -102. Going to be a lot of points in this game. It's a short of Marshall, who, again, credit where credit is due. Couldn't have been more wrong about Old Dominion last week. Marshall, I don't know. Now, there's 5 turnovers in that game, all on the Old Dominion side. So you got to keep that in mind. Texas State is a prolific offense. They really can rack it up, and they can play fast when they want to. I'm not giving up on this team. They were a wagon a couple years ago. They've been middling this year, but Texas State is a buy. Marshall is still a sell. Just on those optics, anything in this range is fine with me. First to 35, 40 points wins. Why is Georgia Tech a dog? I'm so confused. That is a big, weird line. I'm a little surprised it's gotten to, I think it's up to 3.5. And man, that really surprised me too. Duke may win the game, and I don't think Georgia Tech is nearly as good as their record indicates, but I did not think it would push this aggressively. I thought this would, live in the pick'em range maybe. 3.5. This is getting to be, even though I don't want any interest in this game, it would be Georgia Tech or pass at 3.5. I shorted Duke earlier in the year against Illinois to great success. A little different situation, no doubt. I'm a little surprised it's gotten to 3.5, though. I really am. We'll see where it goes. Mensa's awesome, yeah. And Duke's got some pieces, but this is definitely a trap game. And I don't mean that in the sense like, oh, if you bet Georgia Tech, you're going to lose. It's just the spread gives you a lot of caution. 12th ranked team in the country playing a Duke team that's fine, and they're 3.5 point underdogs. I know it's on the road, but man, that is a weird game, and the line has moved. It was sitting at 1.5 not that long ago, so it really does feel like a trap either way you go. It's probably the type of game, honestly, I'm not sure I want to get mixed up with. Maybe a live play. I think it'll be a very competitive game, so if you wanted to go that route, I wouldn't blame you, but man, is that greasy. All right, let's get to the game that I like the most. I don't want to bury the lead here as I'm just clicking over to tails because I already dropped this one. By the way, completely, if you want free bets all day, please get over to tails. Do yourself a favor. Tails.bet/jazzrouse. You just press follow, and you're going to be getting picks sent right to your device there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people over there. You can curate your own feed. You can explore filters, one-click tailing. So if you're like, oh, I want to join in on the sweat, boom, you press this, and you are tailing the same bets that I'm making right here. But I really like Georgia today. That is going to be kind of one of my bigger stands. Ole Miss is a fine team. This is a huge step up. Huge step up in competition for them. They've played one road game against Kentucky. Georgia's still Georgia. I know that Alabama took them down, but I'm really, really high on Alabama. Alabama is really finding their stride. Simpson's been awesome. And I look at this team in terms of Georgia. They may not be the perfect team like they've been in recent years, but they're still damn good. They got through Tennessee. They escaped Auburn last week. Gunnar Stockton is taking care of the ball. He only has the lone interception. They still have a strong offensive line. And the defense, it's not to the peak of their abilities, but you still can't run on Georgia. You're not going to be able to run in this game. So what is Ole Miss going to do? Well, obviously, they're going to have to lean on the passing attack. Chambliss has been certainly good. I respect him as a quarterback, and they do have some skill position players that can cause some problems. I like the game actually in multiple ways. I lean Georgia for sure. I also lean to the over. So if you want to build the same game parlay, if you want to use some of your boosts because they have Georgia-specific boosts today, team totals over, Georgia over in the game. I think a lot of that is warranted here. They are going to be ready to roll. I think Georgia will win going away today at home and look really, really good. Doesn't mean Ole Miss is a bad team, but I do think they handle their business at home. My favorite bet on the board, Georgia. I already placed it over on tail. So again, if you want to tail it, just come over here and press tail. And one-click sync. You are in business. Description video as well. Louisville won as a 14-point dog. Yeah, they did. Miami, man, they always seem to screw it up. I don't like their coach. They can't get out of their own way. You shouldn't lose that game at home. It's just not a game that you should be losing. Georgia and Bama at home today. I hate to, maybe it's too public, but I'm with you. I like both of them. I like Alabama as well. We'll get there in a second. All right, let's get back to the board. We got plenty to talk about here. So we just went through that. All right, I do have to give Indiana their shout out. I was dead wrong on them all season. They've been awesome. They're just an awesome team. They've got a great coach. Very impressive. And they're certainly not going to lose today. Even I couldn't will that over the line. Boom, boom, boom. Rapid fire. All right, Texas Tech and Arizona State. There's some updates on this game. The latest that I've seen, it looks like Texas Tech going to be down their QB. Sam Leavitt looks like he'll be back for Arizona State. I want nothing to do with this. Texas Tech is throwing the freshman in there. That's not for me. I like Texas Tech in life. I think they're an incredibly good team. I don't want to mess around with this game. Utah was probably my best bet last week. When you look at the scores, at least they destroyed Arizona State, and we were on that early. We caught multiple points of closing line value, and it fortunately played to that because they absolutely bodied Arizona State. I think this game will be much more competitive. Mississippi State and Florida, that feels about right. I expect the Gators in the Swamp to get it done. They're another boost candidate in terms of this Moneyline parlay boost. Southern Miss, the other team that I seem to bet every week. I'm going to continue to bet them. They're just doing their thing. They're the Marshall of last year. Braxton at quarterback, prolific. They're balanced. They let a game, they won 38-35 last week in a game that should not have been close. They were up multiple scores. They allowed him back in. I know they have to hit the road here. This is oscillating between 3 and 3.5. I'm riding with the road favorite. It was a little greasy, but Southern Miss, yeah, minus 108 right here. I like them, and I haven't been. Louisiana's a uneventful, uninspiring team in the middle of the conference. They don't do anything great. They don't do anything terrible. They can score. Defense is suspect. It is what it is. Yeah. So Indiana, man, coming off the emotional, crazy, big win. This coach doesn't seem to have any slip up, so I'm not saying they'll be sleepwalking, but I really don't think laying 4 touchdowns is the prudent move. I guess you could go with an over. It just depends on how much you think Michigan State can score. They're going to probably need to give you 10 to 17. If you get that, Indiana gets the 35 and you're kind of there. I think that's kind of how, those are the implied totals or within that range. So yeah, I think that's fine. Washington State plus 17. So the hell's going on with Washington State? They almost kind of beat Ole Miss last week. I don't know if Ole Miss just wasn't paying attention, or that Washington State is an okay team, but that was just a really weird game. That would have been a crazy upset. I really like Virginia in life, but secret's out. They beat Florida State, which didn't age that well, but Virginia's ranked. They've got a lot going on. I know this is an awkward game in the middle of your season. I'm not looking to lay 16.5, that's for sure. So I'd probably take the points. I'm not going to in the game. 55.5 point total, though, slightly juiced to the under, and you're getting 17 points. That's pretty narrow. If Washington State can play even remotely effective offense and it plays to the total, you're going to be in decent position. So, yeah. What else we got here? Texas and Kentucky. I think Texas will handle their business. Penn State, absolutely not. Never again, ever. USC and Notre Dame. Tough game. I'll be honest. I didn't think it would cross 10.5. That's a lot. It's dog or pass for me. This line has come up. Maeva's been good. I'm comfortable with him for sure. He only has a couple of interceptions. He makes certainly some plays happen. Not the most mobile guy in the world, but CJ Carr on the other side also been fine. Showing what he can do. Notre Dame is the rightful favorite. There's no doubt about that. I'm not arguing that. I've still been very confused about this Notre Dame offensive line. They just haven't been nearly as good as I thought they would be. It comes down to a couple things, though. One, do you think USC can stop the run? They're kind of in the bottom half of most of the rushing metrics this year. I worry about that against Notre Dame. I still side with USC just because I think this line is too wide. I don't know. It's a weird line to me. 10.5, you're pushing minus 115. But yeah, I think USC will manufacture offense. We've seen, I know the game wasn't in doubt. Like you look at the Purdue game against Notre Dame, you see some of these early games. Obviously, Notre Dame already has a pair of losses. They seem to have played better lately. They're also playing not SEC top-end competition or Miami and things like that. I agree that this is going to be a close game. It really isn't my favorite game on the board. If I had to make a pick, it would be USC. I'd rather play Alabama, though. I'll get right to it. Alabama's going on tails. You know what? I'm going to put this in right now, actually. Allow me on the show. I know I'm going to bet it, so why not? One add to the card, another big-time SEC clash, Alabama. Let's see. Where are they here? 9.5. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm very content. Tide win by double digits. All right, we're good. Post. Boom. There it is. Get over here and tail it. Again, head over to Tails. We're dropping these bets all day long. And you can hit the little fire emojis while you're there. But yeah, I like Alabama in this spot. Simpson. I mean, there were rumblings. You lose to Florida State, the season's over, blah, blah, blah. And they've really righted the ship. Crushed Wisconsin, crushed Louisiana Monroe. They beat Georgia in Athens. Not many teams can say that. Basically, no one in the last decade can say that. Now, Alabama's kind of playing every week a big-time opponent. Vanderbilt, it is a big-time opponent. Missouri on the road, they didn't escape because I thought they controlled the game, but they handed them Missouri their first loss, and now they've got another big game with Tennessee coming to town. But Tennessee, I'm not sure how good they are. Now, they could have beat Georgia, but that was at home. They have an incredible home environment. That's a tough game in general. I look at Alabama. I think they have continuously gotten better all year. They're a little banged up still on that defensive line. I've talked about that in weeks past, but I still trust the defense. They're strong in the secondary. You got two good quarterbacks in this game. I will give Joey Aguilar has been awesome for Tennessee. Big props to him. He's going to have to make a lot of plays today. He's got some weapons around him. There's no doubt. I don't think I say this with most SEC teams. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball. But yeah, I like this Alabama team. I'm just going to continuously buy on them. I don't think that we saw what was indicative of them early in the season. They've been hot. They've continued to get exponentially better, and they had a couple fluke covers. I'll admit that against Vanderbilt, but then they got hooked last week, so it kind of evens out. All right, let's see. Auburn money line. I also lean to Auburn. Missouri hasn't played a road game yet. How is that even possible? Rutgers, I don't know what to do with the Oregon game. That's a tough game. What do I think about Boise State? Well, let's take a look, friends. Inside 2 touchdowns, healthy total. No surprise there. And UNLV is one of those teams that is just quietly kind of doing their thing. 6-0, score a lot. I think the play for me would be an over. Boise State's had a weird year. South Florida is a very good team, but their season kind of crumbled immediately. You knew they were going to lose to Notre Dame. And other than that, they've hung 40-plus points on every opponent. I think that it's Boise and the over for me in the game. I think they're really going to score and expose UNLV. Just a matter of how many points can this UNLV team score themselves, because they're going to need to give you something. The game's not going to be 55-7. So if they can get to 17, they can get to 20. I think Boise can certainly get to 40-plus once again on their blue turf. They'll be ready to go. So yeah, Boise inside 2 touchdowns is where I'd look. I don't even know if UMass plays today. If they do, under no circumstances should anyone be betting them. Yeah, I don't even think they play today, but they're permanently broken. Yeah, it's rough. All right, we've run through some things. Let's see what else that we've got here. We've got a handful of minutes left. Texas A&M and Arkansas, another tough game. Taylor Green's been awesome, but this A&M defense is, dare I say, elite. They're really good. Really good. I know they have to hit the road here, but man. Hey, this is what I'm talking about, by the way, everyone. Been rocking with Odd Chopper for the last few years, and Tails is the coolest tool so far. I love that it puts the bets in your slip for you, but the fact that it chops the odds for you too. I've been with Stochastic and Odd Chopper for a long time. We've built a lot of cool stuff. Tails is my favorite thing that we've ever built. That's the honest truth. I love it. It's so much fun. On top of it, you have hundreds of people providing content, ton of free content, and you're able to click and tail and just get in there for sweats. We wired up leaderboards lately. This is brand new. So people that are on heaters, all this cool stuff, you get to see it. You get to tail it. You can see what's going on. Who's got long shot plays? Look at some of these things. I mean, just wild, wild stuff. It's fun. It's an absolutely awesome platform, and we are adding every day, all different categories. Hey, look at me. I'm on the podium right here. So if you haven't checked it out, get over there, make a free account, start following people for free, and have some fun with it. Yeah, the Texas Tech line, it is fishy just because of the injury situation at quarterback. Utah and BYU. I mean, that's one of the coolest games of the day, the Holy War. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of it. I think I'm going to roll Utah just because they're a team that I'm a little more comfortable with. And again, BYU, they escaped last week. Arizona had them dead to rights. They had them absolutely buried, and they weaseled out. And BYU made the plays when they needed to. The big difference here is BYU's back at home. This is going to be a crazy environment. I still like this Utah team, though. I respect their front. They've got playmakers. Of course, they've got a dual threat at quarterback. 3.5 pushing -115. That's just really the price you're going to get at this point, and I'm still content with that. I might just stick to boost. There you go, -108. We just saved 7 cents. So, yeah, Utah or pass for me. Is Auburn actually going to win today? I think so. I'll be honest. Auburn caught some really rough whistles last week. I was rooting against them, so I'm sorry to see it in that regard. Not sorry to see it since I wanted Georgia to win, but I thought Auburn caught a miserable whistle last week. They're at home again. Missouri's coming in. Auburn will get it done. Yeah, I like them as a slight. I mean, you call it an underdog. It's a 1-point spread. Let's not go crazy. All right. Here we go. I got to do this. This has been a request. We did it last week, and obviously we lost because it's a sucker bet, and we're going to do it again because it's fun. So please, again, when you're betting teasers in college football, just know what you're getting into. You should not be doing this. But I said that I would do it again this week. We've got to do it. We're going to do it. Let's build a 4-leg, 14-point teaser just for fun, and I will be playing it just to get my gamble on. All right, candidates. I'm going Georgia Tech. I'll move them to 17.5. Let's see what else we've got here. Poor Old Dominion, my guys. Get Akron, Georgia, A&M, Louisiana, 31.5. 31.5. We wanted to. Yeah, take the Tigers and you can't lose. Yes, you've hacked the system. Oh yeah, speaking of the Tigers, thank you for saying that. That's just I'm taking it. I'm taking LSU in this. They may lose. I don't think they're going to get blown out by Vanderbilt. I really don't. But again, I think we're going here, and we'll go Auburn. Look at that. Actually, this works out nicely. This is like I was going to say all Tigers, but that's not even remotely accurate. A couple Tigers in there. Teasers. Dear God, this just feels gross doing this. But there you have it. If you want to get extra greasy, that's about as egregious as you can do in life. North Texas, the Mean Green. It was proven that they cannot play defense because they can't. South Florida exposed them. I don't know where they are at mentally, but they're back at home. They should bounce back. They're a good team still. The game got away from them on the national spotlight. But here we have it. If you want to get real weird and you want some gamble today, there is the 14-point teaser of the week. Yikes. There we have it. Georgia Tech, LSU, USC, and Auburn. I like 3 of these 4 in normal world, and not in a teaser, but actually with the spreads. I'm indifferent on this LSU game. I've gone back and forth, but yeah, keep that in mind. Boosts, we'll do that on the way out. Okay, you got Georgia and Mississippi. We talked about that. All things Georgia and over. Boost builder. Make sure you're trying to get these games. You don't have to, but I would recommend find games that fit the criteria with a good X win, good expected win percentage, that are still efficient lines. Things at minus 260, minus 240. You add some of those in, it's going to increase the power of the boost, but you're not having such an outrageous ticket where you're trying to hit like a 10-leg parlay, which is incredibly difficult to do. Best of both worlds. Up the boost, try to negate the win percentage from going down as much as possible. You'll be in good shape. Boosting with the boys. Okay, very good. I think that's just a standard boost. Tennessee and Alabama. I might look to some alt lines there. Again, I don't think you want to do it together because this is a ridiculous angle. If you go like Bama alt lines with an under, that's going to make your margins extremely narrow. Now, you'll get paid off for the reverse correlation, but that's a big ask in terms of what we can do there. But I do think it's going to be all things Bama for me on there. How do you not take Texas on the teaser? That's fair. I try not to cross 0. I mean, you shouldn't be doing teasers anyway, but crossing 0, you do lose some value on teasers. And with Texas, they would be like a 1-point favorite. Texas is going to win today, though. I agree. I don't see them having many problems. It could be a low-scoring, greasy game, but I don't think they're going to be knocked out by any stretch. But we'll see. If you have any questions at all on college football or tails or life, Jazzraz Bets on Twitter. I'm there. I'll be hanging all day, and I'm going to be dropping bets all day, sweating them out. Probably going to have some early NFL stuff for tomorrow as well. Put out my parlays. I'll post the teaser details again. So if you want to tail that, just head over there. And again, thanks for tuning in. I love this show. Doing it. The like button on the way out. Share it. Appreciate all the support. Make some money today in the college football streets for me and everyone here at Odd Shopper. Good luck. Enjoy the games. See you next week.